Good morning and welcome to Pathdays. Today's Path Day is featuring education, government, and human services and the environment and sustainability path. My name is Jess Wilkie. I'm Director of Guided Pathways, and I'm joined by Jana Nib, the Pathway Navigator for our two paths today, joining us from the Social Sciences Department. This session is Transfer for Environment and Sustainability to URI, and I'd like to introduce Victor Silva, who'll take us through some information about URI and transferring within these majors. Good morning, Victor. You're on mute still.
Perfect. So a rookie mistake to start off the morning. I want to thank Jess and Jana for having me here and being able to speak to you students about the transfer process, a little bit about where to find more in your content related to your fields and, things URI. So we're going to put some, we'll have some links in the chat. If you have questions, we can save them for the end. The presentation should probably be about 15 to 20 minutes. And anything that comes up after the fact, I do want to let you folks know that I am available for individual appointments. I can make sure that we have the link accessible in my email too for those folks that might be listening later. But in any case, we can dive right in. I'm just going to share my screen here. And what I'm going to use for the presentation is the our actual website, because I think sometimes, when you're thinking about the process here, great, thanks, Jess. When you're thinking about the process here and navigating it, you can get a little bit overwhelmed of where to find things. We receive every year in transfer to the university close to 1,000 students, and a good amount of those are from the Community College of Rhode Island, whether through our JAA program or through traditional transfer. And I'll be speaking about the traditional transfer routes for those programs and talking about the requirements that you might need, when we're evaluating your actual application for transfer. So we do have a one-stop shop for transfer. So when you're on our website, it's just uri.edu. You would go to admission, and then from there, we have our undergraduate admission. And then one more click after that, and we'll go to transfer. So in this section, you'll have a lot of helpful links, to kind of navigate the process if you're new to transfer in general or have some apprehension, to walk you through initially, even if you, didn't make an appointment with myself or an admissions counselor. So it'll discuss the requirements for admission, transfer credits, some basics about scholarships and financial aid, give you a checklist, help you stay organized at this point. And depending upon where you are with the process, so if you're going to be graduating, in May, some students think, I have to wait until I actually graduate and finish the term, and that's not the case. You can definitely start earlier, especially if you're gonna be transferring for fall, and you would just submit the documents that you have completed to date, and we'll talk about that in 1 second here. So we do have our deadlines for students applying for, spring terms. It's January 10th, and then we do have our fall semester deadline of July 27th. Now, when you scroll down, the first thing to note is that we are on the Transfer Common application. So on this webpage, you would actually click on the folks scuba diving here, and then the second one, and it'll take you to our section of the Common application. You'd be applying as a transfer student. So any student that's graduated high school, received high school equivalency, and has college credit after graduation, considered a transfer student. And then from here, there's a general guideline of what you need to submit. On a very basic level, it's the Common application, your high school transcripts, and your college transcripts. So your CCRI transcripts and transcripts from any other college or university you might have attended. So if you went somewhere first before going to CCRI and transferred credits back, either way, all those documents must be submitted. We do not require students to submit an essay or a letter of recommendation, but definitely helpful if you want to submit it and you have one from one of your professors, if it was from Professor Nib or someone else, within the department, definitely, take the opportunity to do that, because essentially your application is a little, electronic version of yourself. So you want to, showcase all the things you've done, the things you've been excited about. If you participated in clubs on campus, do things outside of the classroom, you have a job, internship, whatever it may be. So, definitely take those opportunities to highlight the things that you've been doing outside of just your coursework. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit because we're going to be talking, oops, excuse me, I'm going to scroll up a little bit to talk about the general requirements for transferring to the university. And our College of Environment and Life Sciences, those programs follow our general transfer requirements. So they don't have, specific prerequisites, they're just going to stay with the overall university requirements. So the way we evaluate files here is kind of on a credit to GPA ratio, or excuse me, relation. So for students that have attempted fewer than 24 credits, you need a minimum of a 2.8 GPA, and then you also have to meet the first year admissions requirements. And there's a link there to get the specific requirements. You attempted at least 24 credits, so 25 credits, and above. That drops down to a 2.5 for minimum consideration for admission. And then if you have an associate's degree, this is where the document process differs a little bit. If you're gonna receive your associate's degree, or you already have it in hand, you only need to submit the common application and the transcripts from CCRI or other colleges attended. So if you're gonna have an associate's degree or higher, just the college documents in order to receive a decision. And that GPA is a 2.4. So generally when we're talking to transfer students, the questions are, how do I get in? Transferable credit, finances. So in a nutshell, that's kind of the process that I take when I'm reviewing your file. So I think a lot of students get intimidated in the process, and they're thinking about, oh my gosh, what does this mean for me? How difficult is it going to be, and what the situation will be like. And there's plenty of folks, at the institution here to help you along your path. I might be the first one, and that's guiding you through the admissions process. And that's where I was saying, if you do want to schedule an appointment with me, while those requirements seem pretty standard, everyone's transfer process is pretty unique to them because not everyone's taking the same courses, not everyone's had the same experience. So I think, a lot of times, you're a little bit more at ease if you're able to have a conversation and discuss what the process might be for you. And if you want to do that, on the same page at the bottom, if you go to Meet Your Counselor, you'll be able to click on transfer up here, see a picture of me, and be able to schedule a meeting with me based on what I have available in my calendar. So for instance, you can see April's got a lot of availability. So if anyone wants to schedule an appointment with me, a lot of opportunities here. And if you can't find something that works into your schedule, just email me. I can definitely make some room in the day, move things around to answer any questions you might want to have personally answered, or just feel free to email. So don't feel that you're alone in the process. Now, before we go into the curriculum here, I just want to do one more thing. And I think the important part is talking about transferable credit. So you have this available on your CCRI registrar's website, but you can also look at it through our version, and you would just type in URI TES. So in here, every time you go in, it's this first link, TES Public View Management. I know it might not say anything specific to URI, but I promise that's the one. And it's alphabetical. So go to C, Community College of Rhode Island. This is a great resource because you can use it, one, to see all the courses that you've taken and how they relate to the classes at the University of Rhode Island. So how they're going to transfer over for you. In the process of admission, once I make the acceptance decision and you're accepted, I then send your transcripts over to the faculty to be reviewed for transferable credit. So this happens anyways for you. You're going to get a transfer credit evaluation, so you'll have an idea of what you've taken and what they equal here. But that happens after you've been accepted. So if you're doing some research and just seeing what your options are, this might be one of your first steps too, to just get an idea of which classes you've taken and how they transfer over. Thankfully, we have a great relationship with the Community College of Rhode Island. We received a significant amount of students, like I said, and we have an articulation agreement here where we've kind of pre-evaluated almost all the courses in the CCRI catalog to at least get an idea of whether it transfers over, is an elective, specific class, or if there's no equivalent. So this is a great resource to understand what your academic life would be like after you make the transition over to the University of Rhode Island. So again, that's URI TES to see the credit evaluation. And then the next thing I want to talk about was scholarships. So we do offer transfer scholarships, merit-based scholarships to transfer students. And you don't need an additional application for it, no supplemental information. it's at the time that I review your file, I'll also consider it for potential merit aid. So we started awarding transfer scholarships at a 3.3 GPA with a minimum of 24 transferable credits. So that's our base there. But we also offer, which is our highest transfer scholarship, is a Phi Theta Kappa scholarship. So PTK, if you're a student and you're doing very well at CCRI, you might receive some emails to join PTK. It's definitely worth your while, regardless of the institution you might be looking at, because most institutions have a PTK scholarship or recognize the fact that PTK students are high achieving students from the two-year institution. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Or if you're curious about it, you can reach out to the folks on campus and see what your opportunities might be if you'd be eligible for PTK. So Phi Theta Kappa. Now from here, talking a little bit about our programs. So we have our College of the Environment and Life Sciences. So I cheated a little bit and pulled that up, but you can see the name here and you could Google it. Easiest way to find it if you get stuck in the going through our website. But the nice thing here is that there's a lot of things that you might be interested in that you might not know that you would be interested in. So starting with our prospective students in here, outlining a little bit more about what the college does, different options, financial aid, your transfer resources. Again, a little bit more of a one-stop shopping for students specifically in this interest in this program. Talking about student clubs, student ambassadors if you wanted to connect with a student that's already in the program. But when you go to undergraduate programs, now you have an idea of what actually falls within this college. So, the specific programs and majors, and they might fall within environment, health, marine, and then we also have policy and economics. So when you click on any of these programs here, you'll get a little snapshot of what the program is geared towards. If you're interested in becoming, a veterinarian or a pre-vet program, this might be a nice program for you. Click on learn more. And each program is built or set up this way, so you can at least take a look at or compare majors. So they'll give you more information about the major, give you some ideas about, your internship and experiential learning components, and then some ideas of, what careers might be within the particular field. So it kind of wraps everything together. I'm going to study this, and then while I'm studying, do I have an opportunity to do, a practical in that particular field? And then, after my time here, what's next? So, if you're on the fence about a few places, or a few majors or disciplines, but want to, have a further understanding of what, folks in these different professions do, great, kind of concise resource for you to see what they do. You could go on the left-hand side here and click on courses, and those courses will bring you to the actual courses within these programs. So you can get an idea and say, if I'm an aquaculture and fisheries major, what kind of classes are they taking and what's the content? So you have an idea of, I'm taking mostly 100 level, 200 level courses or 1,000, 2,000 level courses from CCRI. They might be more general, but now I'm going to get into my specific major, and what the topics actually are. So, you'll get some excitement going into your potential programs here. So another great resource. And then the other one I think is exciting, probably really exciting for me, is understanding who your faculty are and who you're going to be learning from and what they've done. So, most of your faculty have experience in the field, are still connected to the field. So, that's for opportunities for graduating, after graduation, creating the network. But any of the folks that you click on, it'll bring you to a bio, of who they are, so their education, where they've actually done research or what topics they've done research in, because that's going to be very important to you too. We don't limit research opportunities to just graduate students. If you want to get in the undergraduate portion and have that be part of your experiential education, you can do that. So you might, have a specific interest and it lines up with what these professors have been doing. And then also publications, so where they either contributed their own works, as far as the research that they put in, and things you can look up and see, see what the findings were for their particular contributions. So again, some great resources, some great opportunities to make a connection with folks within your programs. So I just want to talk a little bit more. I'm going to go all the way back out to our academics again, just so you can see the undergraduate programs and the list. to get an idea, if you do have questions. So while I might not be a content expert for all of the programs, and I apologize for that, I try to understand a good amount of everything, but at the end of the day, I might not have all the answers to your questions, but I can at least get you in contact with the folks that could answer your specific questions, especially if it falls within one of these disciplines, and what they're doing, what they're studying, what the classes are like. We do have plenty of experiential space on campus for these majors. So we have 2 farms, some various greenhouses and outdoor spaces for the students in the environmental sciences programs, or even wildlife conservation biology. So again, as far as the resources that you have and being able to just get out there and have a practical component of your education is very, very important. You're not just taking coursework and just going over theory. You're going to have the opportunity to put a lot of these theories into practice. So again, the College of Environment and Life Sciences, I encourage you to take a look at this. But as far as the process program, that's the information I'd like to share with you. So I do want to open it up for questions for anyone that might have some specific questions. And again, I'll share the resources with you as far as how to move forward. My email address too is very easy. So my name is Victor Silva, if you see it on the recording. So my email address is vsilva, V-S-I-L-V-A, @uri.edu. And you're more than welcome to send me an email and say, Victor, I'd like to catch up, learn a little bit more about a specific program, or a little bit more about my transfer process. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, feel free to take yourself off of mute and or camera, or submit your questions in the chat here. Victor, I just spoke with someone from the Feinstein School at URI yesterday. I believe it was Professor Kroll, who was talking about some newer programs in that area, and they happen to fall under education, government, and human services. So we could talk about a little later as well, but maybe you could talk a little bit about some of the delineation of the schools within URI, because it's very similar to what we're doing with Pathways at CCRI.
Sure. So with the colleges and the programs that we offer on campus, let me see if I can get a graphic for this. Bear with me here. If not, I'll go off, or just with me. So within our programs, we break up our specific disciplines over and under a more of a general umbrella. So we have a College of Engineering, College of Health Sciences, a College of Business, a School of Professional Studies and Education, College of Arts and Sciences, College of Pharmacy. So within all these these specific umbrellas, we do have the individual programs, very much like the College of Environment and Life Sciences, where those biology programs, microbiology, aquaculture and fisheries, they all kind of fall underneath. So you have a general idea, and then you have your specific pathways or majors underneath. Within the School of Education and Professional Studies, they have some neat programs, and they're located on the Providence campus. So as just mentioned, being in downtown Providence, those programs are great for degree completion, especially for folks that might be looking at accelerated program and maximizing credit. So we have an interdisciplinary studies major, we have a nonprofit administration program, and we also have our professional leadership studies program. And again, most of those classes are available on the Providence campus. So if you're interested in any of those, a great opportunity, especially if you live north of Warwick and you don't want to head down to Kingston, even though it's definitely doable. You don't have to pack a lunch, and make hotel reservations. You can do it, I promise. But that's a little bit different, where the School of Education, even though it falls, or the education program, even though it falls within that particular school, it does exist primarily on the Kingston campus. So you wouldn't be taking most of your education courses in Providence. And then any student, if there's the opportunity, if you wanted to try taking some classes in Providence, at the Shepherd Building, if it fits into your schedule and they're offering in that particular term and you want to just have that experience of being downtown, you could do that too. But it doesn't provide the same experience of living on campus. So we don't have dorms or anything. It'd be academics purely downtown. And Dr. Kroll's a great person. I really enjoy him.
Yeah, we're talking specifically about transfer between URI, or between CCRI and those newer programs. at URI. So
And there is going to be an admissions day for that on April 21st for those programs at 5:30, and that information is available on our website for the Visit Us. So he has a special program dedicated for those Providence majors. It's worth checking out if anyone's listening or wants to visit that a little bit more.
Great, yeah, and you can watch our websites and announcements at CCRI. We may be having some information sessions specific for those programs coming up in the near future as well. All right. Well, it seems that we have come just about to the end of our time today. Again, if anyone has any questions after viewing this recording or after or who are in this session right now, please feel free to email Victor or email us here at CCRI. And to close out our session, I'm just going to share a little bit more here and say thank you for joining us. We do have a full day of programming for Environment and Sustainability path, as well as the Education, Government, and Human Services path at CCRI. And you can see the full schedule for today and the schedule for next week's Path Day, and links to the recordings from the previous two Path Days we've had at ccri.edu/pathways/pathdays. Also like to give a shout out for our Spring 2021 virtual job fair, which will be hosted on Handshake on April 14th from 1 to 4 p.m. And you can either search Career Services or Virtual Job Fair, or use the link here on your screen for more information. So thank you very much for being with us today, and everyone have a great day.
Thank you very much. Take care.